Now, many young ladies watching this programme will have a dream of becoming an international model. Well, the dream came true for my guest, Ema Busson. Emma, thanks very much for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
An international model?
Yeah, well, trying.
Yeah. Well, you are. You know, you've got quite a few magazines in front of me. You've modelled all over the world. Was this something you always wanted to do?
I wasn't a fan of it. I wasn't 100% a fan of it because I did see it as a bit of a superficial world. But once you get into it and you get into the rhythm of things, then yeah, it's a real good experience.
Yeah.
You know, it opens your mind a lot, especially with the travelling. You know, coming from a really small place in Spain and then travelling a lot, it really does broaden your mind and makes you see things differently.
So you're telling me it's not a superficial world?
It is, of course it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I think everything in this modern world is a bit superficial. It's just a question of not being and being unique and standing up for yourself and standing out from the crowd.
Yeah. Let's take you back a little bit. You were brought up in England,
Yeah.
obviously, but you moved to Spain when you were quite young.
Yeah, when I was 10 we moved here. My mum and my dad got offered some job opportunities here in Spain. So we moved here and, well, been here 12 years now.
Yeah. A good move, do you think?
Yeah, the best one ever. I mean, I go back to England now. I just came back from England just recently. I was there for 2 weeks in Manchester and I was pretty shocked.
Yes.
I was shocked the way that things have got now, and I'm quite happy that I didn't grow up in that sort of environment.
Yeah.
And in one much more friendlier.
You've been in Spain and New Zealand as well.
Yeah, we lived in New Zealand for a little while. Yeah, that was a very good adventure. I've always said that when I retire, it's where I'm going to move to.
Oh, really?
Beautiful place, absolutely beautiful, and the people are so easygoing.
Yeah.
That yeah, it's very much an enjoyable place.
Do you think all this moving has shaped your personality? Because you're obviously very confident.
People say that I come across confident, and I think it's good that I do look as though I come across confident because I'm not exactly the most confident person in the world.
Really?
Yeah, everybody has their hang-ups and stuff. I think it's good to not be, too overconfident. Be confident in yourself and what you're saying and what you're doing, but also always be very wary that you are being judged and be careful about what you say. Be very careful about what you say.
Tell me about this adventure of becoming a model. How did it all happen?
Well, my mum and my boss at the time, they kind of pushed me in the right direction. As I say, I wasn't that interested in it, but they said, you're tall and skinny, give it a go. So I went ahead and looked on the website for a scouter page, and I found a really good one, did a bit of research on it, made sure that it was a very good scouter page and, not, dodgy as, you hear the horror stories and stuff.
And you do have to be careful, don't you?
You do have to be careful, very, very careful. Always do your research. I always tell anybody who asks me information about becoming a model, always do your research. Because even though this was a good page that I was on, it's just a scouter page. You're not a model or anything, you just put normal pictures up on it. And that's how I got found. I had an agency in Spain called Group. They found my little scouter page and they sent me an email telling me about the competition that they were going to be having. They were having regionals all over Spain and they were having one in Almeria, and at the time we were living in Majaca, so it's just down the road. So, and they said in the email, they said no makeup, hair normal, dressed very plainly. So I've gone there looking like normal Doris. I've gone there and there's 500 Spanish beauties, all their hair done perfect, all their makeup done, looking absolutely amazing. I just turned around to my mum and said, can we go home, please? But no, she made me stay there. I was with my best friend, two of my best friends as well, and they made me stay there. And lucky that they did, because a week later I got a phone call saying that I'd won the Almeria Regional.
Wow.
And I was the only one from Almeria to win as well, because a couple of people won, two people won in Madrid, 2 people won in Barcelona, but I was the only one from Almeria, so I was very proud of myself.
We've got a few examples which we'll go through a bit later of your portfolio and some of the magazines that you've been in. A variety, and you were telling me earlier your look really suits a different variety of modelling.
Yeah, I mean, I get cast for all sorts of things. That's a really good thing, because a lot of girls, if they've got the pretty look, then they will get cast for very womanly, very sophisticated looks. I mean, don't get me wrong, I do get a few of those jobs, but I tend to get quite a few punky things as well, and quite out there, strange ones, which I prefer to do, because I like doing the art side of it more than the modelling side and making myself look pretty. I don't mind if I look butt ugly as long as the picture looks cool.
I suppose there's a balance as well. I know the model has to be attractive, but you don't want to be too pretty and too attractive to deflect from the actual clothes.
Definitely. I mean, there's a lot of girls out there that are stunning, but they're not model material.
Yeah.
You take a picture of them and you're like, yeah, they look beautiful, but they do not look like a model, because the range of modelling has changed so much, where 10 years ago it was, you have to be beautiful to be a model. Now, I don't know if you've been watching any of like the America's Next Top Models or any of this.
I missed it.
Well, the girls that are starting to win that are not your typical beautiful models, and they are making a fortune now, which is really good, and it makes me feel, you know, a lot better about the modelling world that I'm in right now, because you don't have to be this perfect version of a woman to be able to be a model.
Are you making a fortune?
You know, ish.
Tell me to mind my own business, but it is a fairly well-paid industry.
You know, that's the thing, everybody always says that, but I've worked for like Vogue doing an editorial. Editorials, everybody thinks this is the sort of job that you get paid for the most, because you get like, you're in a magazine, you get a 9-spread page, you know, you get a really big editorial done about yourself.
Yeah.
But you don't. It's the least paid one, because you get maximum exposure, and they know that. Because you get maximum exposure, instead of paying you the extra money, you get paid a little bit of money, but you get maximum exposure, because everybody picks a magazine up and everybody goes through it.
So your payment is being in Vogue across 8 different pages?
Yeah.
And which could lead to other work, I
Yeah,
suppose.
exactly. That's what their thinking is on it. I mean, I've worked for Vogue 3 times and you get paid €90.
You're joking?
No. Honestly, I was shocked. But yeah, then again, I've worked for a magazine that is Calle 20. It's a Madrid magazine. It's sort of like all in the cool shops and everything. It's one of those magazines there. And they've paid me like 4 times that. You know, and that's the crazy thing. You just don't know how much you're going to get paid for a job.
I'm sure it's an industry where you grow up very quickly.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. I think for me, the best thing for me about it was that I started when I was 18.
Yeah.
You know, I started quite late. So I had worked before. I knew what the colour of money was. You know, I understood the concept of working hard and playing hard. I knew what the difference was. Where these girls that are 15, they're being brought up in this industry, and they're little mini divas. I can see it. They're in the making. You know, clicking their fingers, give me a cigarette, give me a drink, where's my food? You know, they're very much like that. And I'm kind of like, no, you can't be like that. Princesses, that's what I call them.
But you can understand how it can affect people being around
definitely.
that sort of lifestyle.
Well, of course, you're always being told you're beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, of course it's going to get to your head.
Yeah.
And I'm still humble with it now. I still get when someone says, oh, you look beautiful, I'm like, You know, I still get shy about it, and I'm still quite intimidated.
Do you know you're beautiful?
No, don't tell me.
Behind the scenes, I know, as I said at the top of the programme, lots of young ladies want to be in your position, but what is it really like behind the scenes at a catwalk show, for example?
It's mayhem. It is literally mayhem. I did a catwalk for Diesel, and the catwalk wasn't until 9 o'clock in the evening, but we had to be there from 9 o'clock in the morning. And we were there for 12 hours getting our hair done, doing, you know, tests, because there was just so many models. It was a big show. I mean, you're doing like rehearsals. You think, okay, it's easy, it's walking. You know, you've just got to walk up, you've got to walk down, and it's done. No. There is a special way to walking, and you have to do it at least about 20 times, walk up and down, and there's special routines that you've got to do, and it is mayhem, absolute mayhem.
Do you ever get self-conscious? Because a lot of these shows, you don't wear a lot. And, you know, you've got your dad here, who presumably has been to some of these catwalk
No, they
shows.
haven't managed to make it yet, because most of the shows are in Madrid, and unfortunately, Mum and Dad are normally working a lot. And but yeah, like I say, they're in Madrid and stuff, and I'm not a self-conscious person. I mean, I was at the beginning, but when you do editorials and stuff, you get put in some precarious situations, because as you'll see, like most of them are sort of outside in the street and stuff. You've either got a van to get changed in, or you've not even got that, because you might be in the middle of nowhere, and you've probably got someone holding a dressing gown around you while you're, you know, stripping down to your undies. So you that intimidation sort of gets lost. Yeah. And the only thing that's scary about a catwalk is the amount of people that are there. That's the thing that worries me the most.
And usually big celebrities in the crowd as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we did one in the Italian embassy in Madrid, and it was for fur. I can't remember the name of the designer, some long, complicated name. And, there was all famous Spanish models, all famous Spanish TV personalities and stuff. And after the catwalk, we got to have a mingle with them all, and we were obviously still wearing the clothes and that, and we were drinking champagne and living the high life. But, like some really famous, Martina Klein, she's a really famous Spanish model. Yeah. She stepped on my foot. Yeah, she stepped on my foot, and then she apologised. We ended up talking for like a good half an hour, and she was really lovely. And she said, I saw you walking, you look very elegant. And I was like, oh, thank you. And got all shy and red and had to run away.
You've brought in a few examples.
Yeah.
Let me just go through some of them with you, because there are particular favourites.
Yeah, there's definitely my 2 favourites. Obviously, the Chanel one. Everybody loves working with Chanel. But yeah, we have these ones here.
Wow.
These are what are called beauties. You do tend to just get jobs that are for beauty shots.
Yeah.
And this was just for this shot. It wasn't, you know, I was there for about a good, like 4 or 5 hours.
I was going to ask, how long does it take to make you up?
The makeup normally takes like an hour to 2 hours. It literally depends on what the style of makeup is and the makeup artists themselves, because a lot of them are quite finicky and they take forever and it's quite annoying. But you just have to sit there and grit your teeth, really.
So that's Chanel, and there's a completely different photograph here.
Yeah, this one is, I organised this shoot myself. I'm quite proud of it. I have a good friend, Alvaro Villarrubia. He's a very good top Spanish photographer. His book is amazing. He's worked with Robbie Williams. Wow. He's worked with George Clooney, everybody. And I worked with him, and we became really good friends very instantaneously. And when we tend to get bored of doing, like, you know, the very sort of typical pretty, you know. So we wanted to do something a little bit crazy. So we organised this shoot, and the clothes are from Amaya Arzuaga, which is the only Spanish designer to ever run on New York Fashion Week. Wow. The only Spanish designer, the first one. These shoes Lady Gaga herself has worn, and we did a dress that Lady Gaga had worn on the red carpet and everything. And yeah, we just organised this, and we wanted to look kind of like statuesque, you know, not typical beauty, just take it to extremes, really.
And magazine-wise, which are some of the best ones, or your
my personal favourites? Because I would like to get my hair cut short, but I'm not allowed to.
Right.
So these are my favourites because I get to see myself with the short hair.
Oh, yes.
And I quite like them because they're quite punky. You know, like I said, it's not the typical beautiful. It's quite punk rock, you know, with the heavy makeup. They actually bleached my eyebrows, so I don't even have any eyebrows here. They were just blonde. I got all panicky and said, can I get them back? And they were like, yeah, don't worry, we'll put them back on for you. I thought they were going to fall off. I really did get panicky. But yeah, this is definitely my favourite pictures out at the moment. These were just recent. These came out in September. But we've got, this is with A magazine. It's a good Italian magazine, but we've got one here that everyone knows. It's Cosmopolitan.
Cosmo, yes.
Everybody knows Cosmopolitan.
Even young men. I grew up reading my mum's Cosmopolitan.
Yeah.
I learnt so much.
They're really good, though, because they do have male, you know, bits for men in it as well. It's not just, you know, a female.
My excuse.
I know my dad reads it as well. He's just...
There you go.
Yeah, only when my pictures are in it. But yeah, I really enjoyed this job. I got to see a lot of Milan as well with this because it was out and about, and we were literally driving around 13 hours, driving around looking for spots to take the pictures and stuff. And I really did enjoy it. The clothes were very much my sort of style of clothing, and that really does help a lot when it comes to the pictures, because if you've got clothes on that you're not 100% about, then you do tend to feel a bit like a...
I know, absolutely.
You tend to feel like you're not comfortable in the clothing.
I've gone out before in wrong coloured socks, and all day I'd be fretting about it.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
See, I'm not fussed about that. My friends call me odd socks because I always wear odd socks.
Any mishaps during sort of catwalks and things like that?
Yeah, my shoe fell off. We had to walk up 3 stairs, pose, and then walk down the 3 stairs. But I've got quite a big foot. I'm size 40, and they didn't have any size 40s. They only had size 41s. So we put some tissue in there and everything. We thought it'd be fine. I practiced walking up and down stairs, no problem. Did it about 5, 6 times, no problem. Come crunch time, walked upstairs, fine, pose. Took 2 steps down, and my shoe fell off.
Oh.
But it didn't quite all the way fall off. It was sort of like hanging off. So I sort of like shoved my foot back in there and carried on walking like a pro, and got to the end of it, did my turn and came back and cried. Because that was a little bit, I thought it looked pretty awful and I thought I was going to get shouted at, but I didn't. It was fine.
Well, Emma, don't go anywhere because we've got so much more to talk about. So we'll come back, and don't you go anywhere either, because we'll be back very soon with some more Let's Talk.